No, I think in the banking system at large, in many countries, the difference will not be between those who are disrupted and those who survive, but it will be between those who are cannibalized because they are not seeing it coming and they're not embracing it, and those who self-induce that cannibalization. And I'm using cannibalization on purpose because it's a bit of a striking, horrible word. But it's really what it means. It's you're going to disrupt your business model, you're going to change it, you're going to reduce your cost, you're going to expedite your transactions, and you're going to continue to inspire confidence because you will build that on the basis of an existing backbone, which is your bank and the confidence relationship that you've established with your customers. So that's where I see changes happening now. If you think of Circle and Ripples and all those, that's where they are active and helpful.
One of the main topics up there was cryptocurrencies, and all sorts of companies now getting into this effort, not least among them Facebook. What kind of threat does this pose to the traditional banking system?
Well, I think you have incumbents, the banks, commercial banks, and you have the disruptors.
It's you're going to disrupt your business model, you're going to change it.
And clearly the disruptors are having an impact on the incumbents. So I think the role of the disruptors and anything that is using distributed ledger technology, whether you call it crypto, assets, currencies or whatever, and it's far from the bitcoins that we used to talk about a year ago.
Now, if you think of Circle and Ripples and all those, that's where they are active and helpful. You used the word repeatedly, which I think is really important, trust.
Trust.
Jeremy, why do customers eventually trust Circle?
Sure. It's not so much about trusting Circle, it's about trusting the internet. And I think in this realm of money, we're looking at a very similar situation. It's hard for people to grasp a world where they could, first of all, control their own assets, rather than have to entirely rely on an intermediary like a bank, and where they can transact with any other person on the planet instantly with zero counterparty risk, and they can do that at virtually no cost.
But now we have someone from the private sector, Brad Garlinghouse, who is the CEO of the financial technology company Ripple.
I will start off by also thanking Charles, thanking Thomas, thanking Christine. It's an honor to be included. And as was introduced, I think they saved me for last so that I could talk about the private sector version of this.
We have to preserve digital cash. That has to work on the open internet. It has to work interoperably with anyone, anywhere. That's how we're going to solve this problem. And I think we're really close. I mean, USDC itself we've seen over $3.5 trillion of transactions directly on the internet between counterparties. And so if we can, improve it with more scalable blockchain technologies like Brad's company provides. So there's like these bridging of the kind of physical currency world and the digital currency world. That's a real barrier as well.
What is the change you'd like to see wider, not just in your organization, the practical change that in a year's time we can work towards? Asif?
I think the number one thing, and certainly Jeremy won't be surprised to hear me say this, regulatory clarity, regulatory certainty. The U.S. is certainly behind other countries, but even some of the leading countries in this space, understanding how the businesses you operate in are going to be regulated by governments is critical to make investment as an entrepreneur, to start new companies. As a U.S. entrepreneur, when people ask me, they're thinking about starting a crypto company, I say don't incorporate in the United States because that's where it's somewhere between hostile and uncertain. And there's much better clarity in Japan and Singapore, well, here in Switzerland, to invest. And I think globally having more clarity, more certainty will help this innovation thrive, and it'll help remittances because of that.
This is an industry that is not going away. It's valued today at about $1.2, $1.3 trillion. But I do think, I've spoken to Christine Lagarde personally, and I think we need to stop measuring it just by what's going on with the overall value and how are these assets being used to solve real-world problems.